practically filled with Indian relics. As you can see, I've inserted some fluorescent lighting in the front top sections so that you can get fairly good illumination of the relics. Both of these cases were refinished by myself about a year to 2 years ago, and one was obtained in Hartford at an old feed store, and the other one was obtained at let's see, that was at Calhoun in a grocery store. You can see some of the grinders. These are corn grinders. Off to your left there you see a rolling pin, or what we might call a mano-admetate. We scan over, you can see some pestles. There's a bell pestle I found at Hawesville, and celts and axes, some of which in the lower row, the axes down at the bottom are from Maceo. The celt in the upper left-hand corner there was from Hawesville. That's an axe down there. That's a small axe. Those small axes there are from Maceo. The big one there in the middle is was bought up in Dale, Indiana. And the celts and axes that you can see there as we just panned over are from in the Indiana area. Pottery was bought by my mother. We're scanning over several of the flint relics here, mixed in with some bone artifacts. You can see the bone awls up there from Indiana. In fact, all of this second shelf that you're looking at now are Indiana relics. Fairly nice spear point or knife there, found in Indiana. And these are early archaic points, also from Indiana. Some bone implements there in the middle. As you can see, some awls. Some deer antler spear points broken off there in the middle, and also a little bone punch, and looks like also an awl, bone awl. If you notice that little brown spear point just phasing out of it, it was apparently braided in the river, and it's an unusual find. Now we're coming up on some Mississippi artifacts, Mississippi culture. Most of these are triangles. You can see some unusual little drills there, small drills, along with some of my better Mississippi triangles in the blue framed box there. And panning over into the second case, we look down at the bottom and we can see one of my, probably my, well, without a question, my most favorite artifact. That's the dog tooth necklace. There's 100 and, I think there's 103, I believe, in that necklace. There's some knives from various places. Each one of those knives are about 3.5 to 4 inches long. A copper ear disc you saw at the very beginning of that scan on that second row. Several artifacts found in Maceo at the Reynolds farm. In fact, all the way over to right there. And then some more Maceo artifacts found at different locations. And then up here on the little pot you see, and the artifacts in that area, the copper beads right below it, and the artifacts at the top of the shelf are from Aussie bottoms. The ones at the bottom of the shelf are from the Fruget farm in Whitesville. A repaired paleo point there, as you saw it. And going on over, there's some more Maceo and Lewisport, Hawesville area artifacts. A little broken ear on that point there. That would have really been nice. Sticking straight up. The point was just sticking out of the ground. That's all you could see. And then over there we find the Fayette County and Jessamine County artifacts I found when I was in Lexington. And of course there's my small artifact library case along with the little Indian statues. Another good view of the cases. The one case in the very back is on rollers. And as you can see, the Everett Hickman Wagon Company tin. These are getting a little more rare as time goes on. Trying to focus there a little bit. And panning out across the room, you might see several odds and ends. The Coke thermometer, signs on the walls. There's a neon sign up on that wall there, but it's an ideal sign. You'll see it lit in a moment. And there's my slot machine. Antique, 1946, I believe, model. And a little board there for our gallery of stars and jackpot club. Those who've hit the jackpot on my slot machine. And then a quick glance across a few other little odds and ends. Some stools I got at Calhoun at an old, I think it was Wilhite Cafe. There's the old dentist upstairs, painless dentist sign on the post there. And panning around, there's the pool table down below there. And there's that neon sign that I was describing earlier. And you've seen most of that before. There's the slot machine. It's got a nice oak siding on that. And a few little trophies. And there's a little antique punch board there, the Uncle Sam hat that you just saw. The old print, it's not really that old, but print of the old DDI. And of course, the reflection of the ideal sign kind of authenticates it. And we have the replica of the antique telephone on the pole there. This is the area where my ping pong table usually sits. Just perfect room for a ping pong table, but we've got a little place for Kyle to play right now. And that about covers the this scene. Well, first of all, we have what we might consider a motley spear point. Rather fine workmanship. I found it up near Eureka. On the other side, it's a little bit more bluish gray, as you can see. Pretty nice. Okay. Now next we have a, see if we can get this in focus. It's bone, and it's a needle. Really not a needle because it doesn't have an eye in it, but it's a piece of bone that's been worked into an awl. Now here we have just a rather normal field axe, and I have my son right here beside me, as you can hear. Here we are. Okay, and then of course, now leave those things alone, my son, leave them alone. No. Here is a discoidal, as you can see. It is, we'll get a little closer. A little too close, but concave, biconcave on each side. Somewhat polished. Okay. And here we have a small, rather nice little spear point. You can see we found this over right across the river by the bridge. See if we can get her in focus here. Okay. And then we have a celt, Mississippian celt, found across the river near the same place that spear point was found. Okay. And then we have a rather small artifact. You might want to get a closer look at this. So we'll, as you can see, either side, well worked. It's like almost a pentagonal point. Yes, 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 yes. And then, of course, last of all, I have to bring our field back here a little bit, but I'm bringing into view a 3/4 groove axe. As you can see, and of course I found this axe on a display table in Dale, Indiana at an auction. Sitting right on top of the table. You can see it's rather nice. Back up just a little bit. And as you can see, it's really got a high polish in the groove area. And that's pretty much it right there. I have to say that fairly well would do it for our little macro display.